Please support the bar by subscribe, and sharing my casts. Follow my social media at Facebook, Instagram, Gab, Parlor, BitChute, YouTube, DLIVE, Twitch, CLOUTHUB, and Rumble, or join my Subscribe Star. Make a donation by clicking on the links on the description box. I am a listener-supported show, so any of the above is greatly appreciated. Help me grow and spread the truth, since the mainstream media obviously does not want to support truth. All links are listed on the description box. God bless you and enjoy.
Welcome to the Speak Uneasy, a safe space where cancel culture does not exist, because we are in a different prohibition era.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Speak Uneasy with me, the bartender. So, as we start off every night, we're going to start off with the random read. And tonight's random read is going to come from the book of Revelations, chapter 13, verse 1 to verse 10, the beast of the sea. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Once again, this read comes from the book of Revelations, chapter 13, verse 1 through verse 10, the beast of the sea. Now, the message that I gathered from this read, and this ties in correlation to the last read I did last week. This is actually a very scary read, if you think about it. There will be somebody, we don't know who, or we don't even know what entity, whether it be a person or a group of people or some kind of entity, we don't know. But we've always talked about a person or some entity or a group of people being the Antichrist. And quite honestly, I honestly think that we've already entered these times. And I've said this many times before, that if you were not able to see what was going on last year, I don't know what else we can do to make you see what was going on last year. If you don't know who your enemies are at this point, then I really don't know what to tell you. It's either ignorance or you just refuse to see, or both. But we really have to be careful about the people that we listen to sometimes. And I'm talking about leaders. Right? I really want to believe that God was using President Donald Trump. I really want to believe that he was using him to do his will, God's will. I really want to believe that. But we really don't know for sure, right? We won't know for sure. I'm 90-something% sure that God has used Donald J. Trump to do his will. The other, about 10%ish, I am not sure. Because honestly, we're never going to know. We're never going to know everything, right? We won't know who the Antichrist will be. And it's always been said in the Bible that the Antichrist will be somebody who's very what's the word I'm looking for? Somebody who's charismatic. I have my theories on who I think the Antichrist is. And to me, it's just a theory, and it's because of the sect that I've gotten baptized by. I believe that the Roman Catholic Church is the Antichrist. They have blasphemed God. I mean, they've blasphemed him so bad, right? I mean, I'm sorry if I offend Roman Catholics. I was raised Roman Catholic myself. But after the whole scandal with the child abuse, I just couldn't do it. And this was back in the early 2000s. Like, I couldn't find myself going to a Catholic church again. You know, I got baptized. I received Holy Communion. I did not quite complete confirmation, but I was raised and baptized as a Roman Catholic. And the truth of the matter is, the Pope right now, he's a very, very, my opinion, okay? I don't have any facts to back any of these things up, but he's a bad man. And, you know, quite honestly, a lot of people don't know this, but he's not even head of the Roman Catholic Church. He is what you call the white pope. There is another pope called the black pope and another one called the gray pope. I'm not going to get into that right now. We might be able to get into that on another episode. But for now, I want to break down what this read means. Now, and this is just my opinion, okay? This is the way I see what the Lord is telling me to tell you. Now, it says here that it says here on verse 4, and they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Okay, so my interpretation of that particular verse there is the vast majority of people are going to follow this person or entity because of the charisma that the beast is able to use in order to trick people. And believe me, that I don't doubt that there's going to be a lot of people who would be tricked into believing the Antichrist and following the Antichrist and worshiping the Antichrist. It wouldn't surprise me at all. We have to be very vigilant about, especially in these times, about who we're going to follow and who are we going to put up there as our leader. Okay? And then over here on verse 8 through verse 9, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Okay, so the book of life. The book of life refers to the people who will be accepted into the kingdom of heaven. And it's not going to be everybody. Only those people whose name is written in the book of life will be accepted into heaven. This is what I've learned. Okay? I was baptized as a Seventh-day Adventist. This is what they teach. And the only way we're going to establish our names being written in the book of life is if we give our life to God. And if we look, it's going to be impossible to be perfect, right? But we really need to establish that relationship with God and put our hearts and give our life and also serve the Lord. That's what we need to do in order to get our names in the book of life. You can do whatever you want. You can worship whatever you want. I am just sharing my opinion. Okay? I really want to see all us patriots go up to heaven. Especially those of us who are aware of what's going on around the world. As much as people want to think that we the people are the vast majority, think again. We are not. We aren't. I really want to believe that we are. I really do. But the truth of the matter is, the truth will not be for everybody. It won't. And you can't force people. You can't force them to see the truth. You cannot. This is very deep. This connects with what I read last week. I really want people to get back to the Lord. And I really want people to start serving for the Lord. That's how you get your name in the book of life. I am trying to do this full time. I really don't think we have much time left. And I really want to do this full time. Last week's read connects with this week's read, and I think even the read from 2 weeks ago it all connects. And these are random. I don't go out looking for these. I pick these randomly. Okay? I just open the book up and I point to a part of the Bible where I'm going to read, and if it's in the middle of a chapter and a verse, I go to the beginning of it and I read as much as I can of it to make sense, to make sense of what kind of message is being said here. But that's my take on today's read. And please, people, please, we need to get our name in the book of life. Such a powerful read. Okay, so now, shake that off. Now for today's cocktail, it's going to be one of those days, I'm not going to make a cocktail. It's one of those days where I need it straight up. It sure is one of those days. And you know what I got today? Today I have a bottle of Blanton's original single barrel bourbon whiskey. Okay? We're going to enjoy, I'm going to enjoy this bottle. So the bottle that I have, let me read this. This bourbon whiskey dumped on 1/26/18, that's January 26th of 2018, from barrel number 1342. Stored in warehouse H on Rick's number 18, individually selected, filtered, and bottled by hand at 93 proof. And there's I got a history on this particular bourbon, and there is also a story that I want to tell you about this bourbon, because this bourbon's pretty cool. Okay. So I went on the Blanton's. I went on the Blanton's website to get their story. Okay. And it reads, Kentucky's bourbon tradition. While law does not require bourbon to be made in Kentucky, the bluegrass state produces approximately 95% of the world's supply. There are several primary reasons Kentucky remains the bourbon capital of the world today. Kentucky was America's original West. When early settlers moved west in search of more land and resources, many settled in what is now the Commonwealth of Kentucky. These settlers of Scottish, German, and Irish descent brought with them their stills and distilling knowledge. They quickly discovered that Kentucky was the ideal place to make great whiskey. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering today. I haven't even started drinking and I'm already stuttering. One reason is the vast deposits of limestone rock that filters unwanted materials or minerals out of the water used in the distilling process. A second is the soil and climate are perfect for growing corn, bourbon's primary ingredient and source of its distinctive sweet flavor profile. Another factor is the often wild swings in temperature from season to season, and sometimes even day to day. Since bourbon is aged in charred oak barrels, the changes in temperature cause the wood to repeatedly absorb and release the whiskey, giving the finished product its characteristic oak notes and amber color. We are extremely proud of our Kentucky heritage. Blanton's, The original single barrel bourbon has always been and always will be made in Kentucky, the bourbon capital of the world. How Blanton's came to be. Single barrel bourbon started with Blanton's in 1984. Nearing retirement, Master Distiller Elmer T. Lee was tasked with creating a bourbon of exceptionally high quality. With careful reflection, he recalled the earlier days of his career in the late 1940s when he worked under Colonel Albert B. Blanton. Colonel Blanton was the president of the distillery until 1952. Mr. Lee remembered that when Colonel Blanton would entertain dignitaries and other important guests, he would handpick honey barrels from the center cut of Warehouse H and have the bourbon bottled one barrel at a time. As a tribute to Colonel Blanton's old tradition, Elmer T. Lee decided to name his new bourbon Blanton Single Barrel. Mind you, he's the master distiller of Blanton's, okay? Elmer T. Lee introduced the world to Blanton's single barrel bourbon a year before he retired. In doing so, he revolutionized the industry by creating the super premium category of bourbon with the world's first single barrel bourbon. This idea was somewhat radical at the time because it challenged the identity of what most folks thought bourbon to be. Today, most distilleries offer one or more single barrel bottlings, but Blanton's was the first, and we still believe the finest single barrel on the market. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. But there is a lot of history about this bourbon. Another cool thing that I wanted to bring up too about this bourbon, and I got this article from ScreenRant.com. It was written by Padraig Cotter back in June 12 of last year. Okay. Article reads, "What bourbon John Wick drinks and how much it costs." That's right, people. This is what John Wick drinks. What kind of bourbon is John Wick seen drinking throughout the hit action franchise, and how much does it cost to buy in real life? What kind of bourbon does John Wick like to drink, and how much does it cost? John Wick marked something of a major comeback for Keanu Reeves, following a period of disappointment like 47 Ronin. Initial expectations for John Wick were low, and there was a point where it seemed it might go straight to DVD instead. Early trailers turned that around, promising a film with slick action and colorful characters, and the movie became a surprise success when it arrived in 2014. Interest in the series has only grown with each passing entry, with John Wick Chapter 2 upping the action quota while driving even deeper into the mythology of the franchise's criminal underworld. John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum arrived in 2019 and followed on from the sequel's cliffhanger ending, and became the highest grossing entry to date. A fourth movie is in development, and a game titled John Wick Hex also arrived in 2019. Outside of the John Wick franchise, upcoming Keanu Reeves projects include Bill and Ted's Face the Music, The Matrix 4, and video game Cyberpunk 2077. We are going to go down to the... Here we are. Blanton's Bourbon was the first single barrel bourbon to be sold commercially in 1984 and has an ABV of 46.5%. It's aged for around 6 to 8 years and is noted for its sweet flavor and distinct heart-shaped stopper. After a stressful day, it's no worry. John Wick lets to take a sip, and according to Wine and Liquor, a bottle of Blanton's single barrel Kentucky straight bourbon should set people back between $60 to $70 roughly, which is these things are hard to find, okay? With different editions raising in price from there. Blanton's bourbon is considered something of an upmarket brand and has a price tag to match. By all accounts, it's a very nice bourbon if fans of the John Wick series care to check it out and aren't put off by the price. It's certainly a little cheaper than his taste in suits. You know, honestly though, these things are hard to come by, and the secondary market jacks up the prices. The cheapest bottle of Blanton's that I've bought was probably around $93. Yeah. And that was from a liquor store that jacked up the price because these things, they're allocated, which means a lot of stores, they don't get a full stock of these kind of bottle of bourbon. Okay, they have to order a specific number of other stuff in order for them to get some, like, a special thing coming to them, which is why it's very difficult for stores to carry them. And if they do carry them, they're going to jack the prices up. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. This bottle of Blanton's. Honestly, this bottle's almost done because I had this sitting for about a few months. I'm not going to quite kill the bottle yet. I have enough here for about a double. I'll have a little bit more than a double after that, but I'm going to save it because, like I said, these bottles are hard to come by. These are pretty cool shaped bottles too. So let's pour us a double of Blanton's. Okay, that's about a double. They have really cool stoppers on the bottle as well. On the stoppers, they have a jockey and a horse, because in Kentucky they have the Kentucky Derby, horse racing, and it's a collector's item, the bottle stoppers. So here's to Blanton's and to John Wick. Cheers. Very sweet. Very sweet. You really get that corn. Ooh. That is good. I get some vanilla in there too. A bit of caramel too. But man, this thing is sweet. Take another sip. Yeah, this bottle is sweet. I think part of it too is I let this bottle sit for a few months. Ooh. Even on the nose, it's sweet. It's very sweet. But I like it. Well, there it is. Blanton's Bourbon. The original single barrel bourbon whiskey, neat. Cheers. And on to the show. So the first article of review that I have here in front of me is by Newsmax Finance. Title reads, Silicon Valley won't last forever and Texas knows it. This article was written on Sunday, February 7th of this year. Is Texas really a serious rival to California as a destination for high tech? The growing exodus of banner companies Oracle Corp, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise Company, Tesla Inc., SpaceX, and others suggest that there's something in the idea. Still, skeptics rightly point out that plenty of other places have made a bid to become the new Silicon Valley and never come close. Here I go with my stuttering again. Texas, though, may be different, and not because of the recent high-profile relocations. Unlike other would-be innovation hubs, the state has been quietly nurturing high-tech industry for decades. If Texas eventually rivals California, the consequences could be momentous, not just for industry, but for U.S. politics. We'll see. We will see, because a lot of people that work in these tech companies, man. I'll keep reading. A bit of background. At various times in the nation's history, different locales have emerged as clusters where industrial innovation has flourished, spawning powerful new corporations and staggering amounts of wealth. These places of invention attract a critical mass of companies and talent. They often depend on institutions that train the next generation of workers and entrepreneurs. Silicon Valley fits the model. As Margaret O'Mara has observed in her entertaining history of the region, a critical convergence of engineering talent, venture capital, educational institutions, and government money unleashed waves of innovation, each building on the previous one to generate ever larger economic booms. But nothing is forever. Consider the fate of Hartford, Connecticut. That city was once a high-tech powerhouse in the late 19th century, dominating precision engineering and instrumentation. Its glory days are long gone. Other centers of innovation and invention have suffered similar fates. Philadelphia, which has largely pioneered machine tool production. Detroit, crucible of the automobile industry, and others. Well, with Detroit, they took away the jobs from there, as far as I understand. Because, yeah, that was a big hub for car production. Well, I'll continue on. If Silicon Valley loses its marquee status, it will almost certainly give way to several hubs in Texas, a state now more readily associated with Ted Cruz, capital punishment, and crude oil. The idea that it could ultimately displace California as the leading center of innovation seems far-fetched, except when you take a closer look and go far back in time. As one account of Texas's high-tech history has argued, a new age dawned in 1930. The year brought news of the largest oil discovery ever made in the lower 48 states, the so-called joiner strike in the East Texas oil patch. But it also saw the creation of Geophysical Service, a company that used sound waves to prospect for oil, which quickly became an industry standard. The company grew rapidly, expanding into submarine detection during World War II. Oh, that's interesting. In 1951, the company became Texas Instrument. Oh, yeah, they built calculators. I remember as a kid. One of the giants of the computer age. 3 years later, TI became the first company to design, build, and market silicon transistors. 7 years later, it developed the first integrated circuits or computer chips. These became the building blocks of everything from handheld calculators to computers. Yeah, I remember these. I vividly remember these calculators. Even as Silicon Valley became the visible leader in computing technology, Texas Instruments flourished in Dallas, growing ever larger. It is now the world's largest manufacturer of analog chips. Part of the reason for this trajectory had to do with another institution that continues to play a key role in driving technological innovation in the state. Houston's Rice University, which played a role comparable to Stanford's Silicon Valley. I don't know how to pronounce that. In fact, many of the early players in Silicon Valley actually moved to California after graduating from Rice, constituting what is sometimes called as the Rice Mafia. How cute. How appropriate then that Rice would play a key role in the next step in the rise of Texas. In 1961, the university donated more than 1,000 acres of land for the construction of what became known as the Johnson Space Center, flooding a once provincial city with literal rocket scientists. Like Silicon Valley, where government contracts and connects proved essential in getting the region off the ground, Houston's leadership in the space race kick-started a host of related industries. All of this happened very gradually, almost imperceptibly, as Texas remained in the shadow of a ongoing Silicon Valley. But as the state boomed, so did its public university system. Soon the flagship university in Austin came into its own, and startups began proliferating in the university shadow, as well as along Interstate 35, which connects Austin northward to Dallas and southward to San Antonio. This corridor joined Houston, which was already well established. Some of the companies that defined the Texas tech scene in this early era have perished. Tandy Corp, for example, which helped launch the personal computer era with its TRS-80 laptop before caving to competition and renaming itself Radio Shack Corp to focus on retail and compact computers corp. But others have proven more enduring. Austin begat a host of successful startups, including Michael Dell's company, which began direct marketing personal computers to consumers and remains a giant today. Yeah, I've bought a few Dell computers in the past. They are good. By the year 2000, the battle for tech supremacy had come down to two states, California and Texas. But the Lone Star State was at that point still playing catch-up. For example, California's high-tech exports that year totaled $53 billion, while Texas came in second at $25 billion. Yet Texas surpassed California in 2014 and now holds a commanding lead. A lot of that has to do with the tax stringents over there in California. Other measures suggest that California continues to hold onto its lead. Back in 2000, California was the top state for research and development investment, venture capital investment, and other measures of future promise. Texas lagged well behind, ranking sixth in R&D 20 years ago. It's since valued up to third place, but California still holds a commanding lead. That's where the growing number of corporate relocations could tilt the balance. The companies making the move aren't bit players. They are massive corporations like Oracle and Tesla. certainly some of their operations will remain behind in California, and still a momentous step. It's still a momentous step, rather. And these behemoths are hardly alone. Texas is the top destination. Texas is the top destination for a growing number of companies moving out of California, and has been for upward of 12 years. In 2019, for example, 1,800 companies left the state. Most went to Texas. This has been paralleled by population shifts, with a net shift of 42,500 people leaving California for Texas. I'm one of them. The largest such movement of people in the country. The influx of well-educated, affluent tech workers, most of whom count themselves liberal. Oh, jeez. Lord, help us here in Texas. Lord, please help us here in Texas. Will transform Texas. It sure will. And I want to touch on that as soon as I'm done reading this. And not just its economy. In time, the growing number of transplants could help turn the state blue for the first time since it went for President Jimmy Carter in 1976, delivering its wealth of electoral votes to Democrats in future elections. If that happens, Republicans may belatedly realize that the power of the tech sector goes far beyond banning the president from Twitter. Okay. So, oh man. You know, this is good for the state as far as the economy goes. This is great. Okay? And one of many reasons why a lot of these companies leave California is because California has such strict tax rules and red tape for businesses, especially for small businesses. It's almost impossible to open up a small business in California. So a lot of these people are taking their businesses and coming here to Texas, which is a very pro small business state. And they actually, they do the best they can to make it as easy for people to create their own businesses here. But here's my concern. Because especially after last year seeing the power of big tech, my concern is that a lot of these people are going to be changing the way Texas is. And there's a reason why I moved to Texas, and it's definitely not because of the barbecue. I mean, I love the barbecue here, but it ain't the main reason why I moved here. The main reason why I moved here is because I escaped California's politics and policies and rules. I cannot live in that state. That state is so liberal. So liberal. Okay? I don't toe any party lines. I would consider myself a free thinker. I don't even consider myself a, quote, independent. I just consider myself, I don't know. If I had to label myself, which I really don't like labeling myself as far as politics goes, I like to call myself a conservative libertarian. Because I'm one of those type of dudes my mind says, if don't mess with me and I won't mess with you. That's pretty much how I am. And I think a lot of straight shooting Americans are like that too, Don't mess with me and I won't mess with you. Right? It's like the Gadsden flag, don't tread on me. A snake is coiled up, ready to defend itself if somebody messes with the snake, or if something messes with the snake. That's pretty much how I am. Okay? And like I said, I think a lot of Americans are like that too. They want to be left alone. And I do agree that this big move of all these tech companies are going to change the policy, especially, I mean, I already know that Austin's very liberal. It's as liberal as can get. It's almost as if I didn't leave California every time I go to Austin. Okay? Especially seeing a lot of these stickers of Democratic politicians that just ran last year for president, or 2 years, or whenever they ran. I see beta stickers. I see Biden Harris stickers. And I don't get it. I really don't. I don't understand why these people are they that hard up for their party that they don't realize that what they're supporting is actually what destroys the middle class people. And what baffles me too is some of these people even drive expensive cars. And I'm thinking to myself, don't you realize that the people that you support want to get rid of the middle class, which means that you won't be able to drive that nice car that you're driving? I don't get it. And now you're going to have an influx of all these big tech people who are mostly liberal. I'm not saying all of them are. And the reason why I say that is because of stuff that went on last year with the cancel culture. You saw a lot of conservatives being like canceled out. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Some of them even midstream of their shows were just cut out. So, yeah, I really do think that it's going to reshape the politics of this state. And I live close to Austin, and I know that it's going to spread my way. I know it's going to spread my way, whether I like it or not. I escaped California for a reason, and now everybody, well, I wouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people from there are coming over here thinking that the policies that they support, which failed over there in California, they think it's going to work over here. I mean, are these people insane? All I want is to live my life without any like anyone bothering me. Anyone taking from me. Yes, big government bothers me. Yes, big government takes from me. They take from all of us. And these people are supposed to be smart. I mean, are they really smart? They may be smart with computer stuff, but when it comes to real life stuff, they have no clue. Or are they just hard up on the party line? Or are they part of the problem, maybe? I don't know. But that's my take on that's my opinion about what's happening with these big tech companies moving here. You know, I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, yeah, economically it's great for the state, but I mean, what's the cost of, I mean, we're going to pay in the future for this. We're going to pay. I have concerns about this. I mean, you know, I'm a small business as well. I don't generate anything, but I do consider myself a small business. But I'm really concerned for the future of this state because of this, because of these big tech companies moving over here. Okay. Man. I thought I've escaped liberalism, man. It turns out that liberalism is it's I know it's everywhere, but shoot, man, I didn't expect the vast majority of liberal people to be moving over here. But I guess that's how a smart battle is fought, right? You infiltrate a conservative state and turn it blue. Oh man. I mean, hey, I really don't care about what you about where you stand politically, but just stepping out. Like if I was just to step out and look at conservative values versus liberal values do not align with me. Okay? And yet I've met a few people here that told me not to turn Texas into California. And my response to that was, no, I escaped California because I didn't belong in California. So, time will only tell what happens to Texas, man. I've grown to love this state. And I haven't even been here that long, but I've grown to love the beauty of this state. The people are awesome out here. I've never met the most genuine people anywhere. In California, it's so different. It took me getting used to just having normal conversations with strangers here with no ulterior motive. Because in California, you don't talk to anybody there unless you want something from them. I mean, that's the vibe I get. You know, a good example of the differences between Texas and California. Here's one really good example. One very noticeable thing that I've noticed since moving here. In California, if you're driving on the freeway and you need to change lanes, but then another car is on the other lane, that car will not let you go. It won't. And even if you do try to fit inside the lane, or if you're a good distance to change the lane, they'll honk at you. They'll give you the finger. They'll road rage. Here in Texas, it's different, and I think I know why the road rage is not as rampant here is because this is a pro carry state. Which means people are allowed to carry guns here. But the difference here is same situation happens to you here on the freeway. People will let you in. They will slow down and let you in. That's one of the biggest things that I've noticed here. The hospitality here of people are it's beautiful. You don't see that in California. And another thing that I've noticed too with the difference here in Texas and California is that every time I go travel to California, I feel like I'm being rushed. It's like I need to be somewhere. There's no time for me to relax. I have to be somewhere, right? Here, I mean, it could be because I go to work there and I live out here, right? But even when I was living out there, on my days off, I felt like I was being rushed to get to my destination. While here, you're just chilling, driving, no rush. I mean, I still got that California driver mentality in me a little bit, but I'm beginning to like wean off of it because I don't feel rushed here. That's just the differences that I've noted, like the immediate differences that I've noticed since moving from California to here. And now I'm doing a balancing act because I still work over there in that I still work in that God forbidden state. I hate California. I don't care how much people love the weather there, but I hate that state. I am happy here. The people are nicer here. So that's just my take, and it's going to be interesting in the next few years to see how this state becomes, And I know that I knew when I was planning on moving here that Austin was the hub of being blue. I knew. But I said to myself, I'm gonna make sure that I'm far enough that I don't have to deal with the BS. But obviously, I know a lot of these big tech people are going to be living in these neighborhoods that they're going to guarantee. I can tell already that if I walk down the street of my neighborhood and I ask people, what do you do for work? A lot of them are going to probably say they work for big tech. But, hey, I don't want to judge people right away. I don't want to have preconceptions about them. I'd rather get to know them first. So that's my take on this big tech companies moving here. And we're going to take a break, and we're going to review the next thing. So I'll see you in the next break, or after the next break. And we are back from the break. Okay, so the next article that I want to talk about, first I'm going to read and then give my little input on it. But before I read it, I just want to give a disclaimer here that I'm not a financial advisor. It is your responsibility to do your own research before you start investing in anything there is. You could go ahead and do your own due diligence about things that I talk about, and you can make a decision from there on your own, or you can hire an actual professional financial advisor to give you, financial advice. But I am not a financial advisor. I just want to give that disclaimer. So I am not responsible for anybody's loss of whatever you want to invest in. So, as I prefaced it, we're going to be talking about Dogecoin. For those of you people who don't know what Dogecoin is, it is a cryptocurrency. Let me get into this article first, and then we can talk about what Dogecoin is afterwards. So this one comes from the businessinsider.com, and it is written on Sunday, February 7th of this year, by Kevin Shalvey. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but I'm just saying it how it's spelled. Article's title reads, Dogecoin's price jump as high as 35% after Elon Musk tweeted Dogecoin to the moon in a Twitter poll on the future of crypto. Elon Musk, chief executive at Tesla and SpaceX, drove the price of Dogecoin cryptocurrency by as much as 35% higher with a series of tweets late Saturday. I'm assuming that was very recent, just the Saturday that just passed. The digital currency hit an all-time high of 0.065448, which is about 7 cents, up about 35% from its 24-hour low of about 5 cents, roughly, okay, according to CoinDesk. The cryptocurrency's price later dropped again before climbing back to about 25% gains. Year-to-date returns on the cryptocurrency were about 1,032.91%, the site said. The cryptocurrency had a market capitalization of about $7.81 billion early Sunday. Musk on Saturday night posted a Twitter poll asking his 45.8 million followers to choose the future currency of Earth. He gave two options: Dogecoin to the moon, or all other cryptos combined. The poll resulted in 71.3% of the 2.4 million voters saying that Dogecoin to the moon would be the future of currency. Last week, Musk sent the coin up 59% with another series of tweets where he called Dogecoin the people's crypto. He's also boosted Bitcoin and has been a vocal supporter of the Reddit group Wall Street Bets. Dogecoin has benefited from the mania driven by that group. Just before midnight in California, Musk added another tweet, building off a meme he'd posted last week. On February 4th, he posted a drawing ripped from The Lion King, with himself as Rafiki, the cartoon monkey holding up a baby, Simba in the movie, but the Dogecoin dog in Musk's version. On Saturday, he added 2 other monkeys to the scene. They had the heads of Gene Simmons from the band Kiss and Snoop Dogg. Musk said, "So it's finally come to this." And that was the article. Okay, now my opinion. Let us dig into how Dogecoin became a cryptocurrency first, okay? Let's see, because my understanding of this particular cryptocurrency, as far as its birth, was it was a joke. It was actually a meme. Okay, so I'm on Wikipedia, and you can take the information. You can take this information for what it is, because I know Wikipedia is not really accurate information, and anybody can go in there and edit stuff in there. But we're just using this as a generalization, okay? So it says here, the history of Dogecoin was co-founded by IBM software engineer Billy Marcus from Portland, Oregon, and Adobe software engineer Jackson Palmer, who set out to create a peer-to-peer digital currency that could reach a broader demographic than Bitcoin. In addition, they wanted to distance it from the controversial history of other coins. Dogecoin was officially launched on December 6, 2013, and within the first 30 days, there were over 1 million visitors to Dogecoin.com. At the time, Palmer was a member of the Adobe Systems marketing department in Sydney and is credited with making the idea a reality. Palmer had purchased the domain Dogecoin.com and added a splash screen, which featured the coin's logo and scattered Comic Sans text. Marcus reached out to Palmer after seeing this site and started efforts to develop the currency. Marcus had designed Dogecoin's protocol based on existing cryptocurrencies, Lucky Coin and Litecoin, which use script technology in their proof-of-work algorithm. Excuse me. The use of script means that miners cannot use SHA-256 Bitcoin mining equipment, and instead must use dedicated FPGA and ASIC devices for mining, which are known to be more complex to produce. On December 19, 2013, Dogecoin jumped nearly 300% in value in 72 hours, rising from 26 of a cent to 95th of a cent. Wow. I mean, not even a penny. There's too many zeros, 0.0000s to count here. With a volume of billions of Dogecoins per day. This growth occurred during a time when Bitcoin and many other cryptocurrencies were reeling from China's decision to forbid Chinese banks from investing into the Bitcoin economy. 3 days later, Dogecoin experienced its first major crash by dropping, 80%. Due to this event and to large mining pools exploiting the small amount of computing power required at the time to mine Dogecoin. On December 25th, 2013, the first major theft of Dogecoin occurred when millions of coins were stolen during a hack on the online cryptocurrency wallet platform Doge Wallet. The hacker gained access to the platform's file system and modified its send-receive page to send any and all coins to a static address. This hacking incident spiked tweets about Dogecoin, making it the most mentioned altcoin on Twitter at the time. Although it was in reference to a negative event to help those who lost funds on Doge Wallet after its breach. The Dogecoin community started an initiative named Save Dogemas to help donate coins to those who had them stolen. Approximately 1 month later, enough money was donated to cover all of the coins that were stolen. In January 2014, the trading volume of Dogecoin briefly surpassed that of Bitcoin and all other cryptocurrencies combined. However, its market capitalization remained substantially behind that of Bitcoin. Initially, Dogecoin featured a randomized reward that is received for each mining block. However, in March 2014, this behavior was later updated to a static block reward. In April 2015, Jackson Palmer announced he was taking an extended leave of absence from the cryptocurrency community. During the 2017 and early 2018 cryptocurrency bubble, Dogecoin briefly reached a peak of 0.017 cents per coin on January 7th, 2018, putting its total market capitalization near USD 2 billion. In July 2020, the price of Dogecoin spiked following a TikTok trend aiming to get the coin's price to $1. In January 2021, Dogecoin went up over 800% in 24 hours as a result of attention from Reddit users, partially encouraged by Elon Musk and the GameStop short squeeze. The next part of this is the uses and exchanges. Several online exchanges offer Doge/BTC and Doge/LTC. BTC is Bitcoin, LTC is Litecoin trading. Dogecoin is an altcoin with many users. Mainstream commercial applications of the currency have gained traction on internet, such as a tipping system in which social media users tip others for providing interest or noteworthy content. Trading physical, tangible items in exchange for Dogecoin takes place on online communities such as Reddit and Twitter, where users frequently share currency-related information. Dogecoin has also been used to try to sell a house and has been used in the pornography and poker industries. Doge Tipbot was a cryptocurrency transaction service used on popular sites like Reddit and Twitch. It allowed users to send Dogecoins to other users through commands via Reddit comments. In May 2017, Doge Tipbot was discontinued and taken offline after its creator declared bankruptcy. This left many Doge tipbot users losing their coins stored in the Doge tipbot system. So that's a little information on Dogecoin. I didn't overhear, but I remember reading somewhere. I'm not sure where I read it from, but this actual cryptocurrency was started as a meme, as a joke. It was just a joke. And because Elon Musk has such a great following and has so much influence on a lot of people, and because he is CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, a lot of people follow what he says. I do delve into cryptocurrencies. I do not delve into Dogecoin because I know there is no actual use for the coin. I mean, they may say that they use it as a currency, but there really is no use for that actual cryptocurrency. As far as the research that I've done, there's no actual use. I've heard that Litecoin would be a good use of currency if the banking system went down. And I believe that Bitcoin uses the same... I don't know how to explain these things because I am not a cryptocurrency expert. But they use the same... I don't know what you call it, but they use as far as like the transferring system is the same, is what I want to say. There are other cryptocurrencies that have use for them. There's one cryptocurrency that I'm a big fan of right now. And like I said, I am not a financial advisor. You want to get financial advice, go to an actual financial advisor, somebody who's been to school for that stuff, because I have no clue. If I was a financial advisor, I'd financial advise myself and not share the information at all, so I can become rich. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. But like I said, I put the disclaimer out there because I just, But one cryptocurrency in particular that I'm a big fan of, and I've learned this through watching videos of Bix Weir, who has financial experience. He's not a financial advisor. He's just one of the guys that I go to who has information about finances because he has experience. But he himself is not a financial advisor. Okay? Let's just get that straight. Okay. So one cryptocurrency that I am a big fan of, that I've learned through Bix Weir, is Theta. Okay. I am a big fan of Theta because it is supposed to be replacing the internet. And there are a lot of big companies that have signed on to Theta. Samsung being one of them. Okay. This has already been a few months already. I think it was sometime last year. Either last year... Yeah, I think it was sometime last year where they signed up they started putting things in their software to start using Theta. Okay? It's supposed to be the next internet. And that's the simplest way I can explain what Theta is. It has an actual use. And I think there are other companies too. Who are starting to get involved with Theta. Let me try to find an article here, because I want to share this. I definitely want to share this article with you. And this comes from roadtoruta.com, which is Bixweir's website. He does have a membership site that you can pay for annually, and I am subscribed to that. And let's see if I can. Okay, so this comes from medium.com. And I'm going to read this article. ThetaSwap V1 launches as the first decentralized exchange, DEX for Theta blockchain. Decentralized exchange DEX space has seen incredible growth in the past 12 months as DEXs evolved from slow, clunky interfaces to easy-to-use sites protocols like Uniswap and key enablers of the DeFi ecosystem. What used to be a significant percentage of crypto trade volume has given way to daily volumes of 2 billion per day or more, led by Uniswap and DeFi protocols like Compound and Aave, and revealing all but the largest centralized exchanges. We're excited for Theta blockchain to join this growing market with the release of ThetaSwap V version 1. Okay. ThetaSwap is the first decentralized exchange built on the Theta blockchain, using an open source smart contract system based on automated market maker logic similar to that of Uniswap. It allows users to exchange their newly created TNT20 tokens built on Theta blockchain in a trustless, non-custodial way. Already we are seeing Theta streamers and community leaders create their own TNT20 tokens, and expect many more to come as the ecosystem grows. With new tokens being built on the Theta blockchain, see what I mean? It's the new internet. It's critical that there's an easy way for users to trade them and for markets to price them in an efficient manner. With this release, ThetaSwap enables these new use cases in Theta ecosystems that require market-traded assets to function. From streamers issuing loyalty tokens of their fans to protocols of DAOs to fund entertainment and media ventures, this creates many exciting new ways to use Theta blockchain. We expect the launch of media entertainment tokens to be a major theme for 2021, as everyone from the smallest streamer to the largest Hollywood studio looks for new ways to monetize their content in a seamless and decentralized way, free of middleman fees. You can find ThetaSwap here, and there's a website to the link. And remember, this is on medium.com. ThetaSwap uses your Theta Chrome wallet to interact with the exchange. You can download it here to add to your Chrome browser, to import your existing Theta web wallet or mobile wallet into the Theta Chrome wallet. Just use your 12-word mnemonic phrase you recorded at wallet setup. And then there's instructions there. Version 1 of ThetaSwap allows trading of T-Fuel and TNT20 tokens, but future versions will add functionality for Theta trading via a version of the Theta token in a TNT20 wrapper, similar to WETH, I think that's Ethereum, but I'm not sure. Or WBTC, which is, it might be Bitcoin, which you may have used in other DeFi protocols. You would use Theta in Theta Swap. Several stablecoin users have also expressed interest in bringing their assets to Theta blockchain in TNT20 form, making it even easier to trade on Theta Swap. Look for continued upgrades to Theta Swap along the way into 2020. And that was written by Theta Labs and medium.com. So I guess a lot of entertainment companies are going to start, they're trying to get into this Theta blockchain. And like I said earlier, I think Samsung also started putting this in their products, where it's going to be able to use the Theta blockchain. I mean, think about it. If any of us had gotten into the internet when it first came out, did we ever think that the internet would be as big as it is now? Probably not. So, being that we're in 2021 now, don't you think that it's time for an upgrade for the internet into the blockchain? That maybe this new thing called Theta could be the next big thing? I don't know. I've invested some money into it. It doesn't hurt. I mean, let's see where we're at as far as how much a coin would cost you. Let's see. So I'm on Coinbase right now. They don't sell this on. They don't sell Theta on Coinbase. And like I said, I'm gonna keep repeating this because I know there are a lot of people out there who thinks, "Oh, this guy's giving financial advice." No, I'm not. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just telling you what I do for myself. Okay. So right now, the market is showing on Coinbase that Theta is at $2.26 a coin. Okay. And it seems to me that the supply cap on Theta right now is about 1 billion. The market cap for Theta, meaning that there's only going to be this is the set amount. There's only going to be 2.3 billion Theta that's ever going to be made. And I was lucky enough to get into Theta when it was 60 cents a coin, because now it's $2.26. Okay. Like I said earlier, I am not a financial advice. I am not giving you advice. I am just merely telling you what I have done for myself. I don't have that much Theta. I wanted it to be a low risk thing for me. But if I'm able to make a big profit out of something small, then I will definitely take a risk of a little amount of money, put it in to see how far it will grow. So even if I do lose whatever I put in, it's not an amount that I would be kicking myself in the behind with. Although now looking in hindsight, I should have put at least a couple thousand on it, but hey, it's okay. I'm still up. So it seems that after this whole GameStop thing, a lot of people are trying to find an easy way out. I've been following a lot of these crypto things and also silver. I've been following silver for years, especially silver. I've been following silver, and I'm not talking about SLV. I'm talking about the actual silver coins that you hold, okay? Tangible ones. I've been following the price of silver since 2011. Cryptocurrencies, I've been diligently following since 2017 when Bitcoin first got its all-time high back then about $20,000 a coin. Okay, that's another thing too that I got into. I got into it when it peaked around that time. When it shot all the way down to 3,000, and then it went all the way back up, and it tipped to 42, I believe, like a month ago. Somewhere like a month ago, it tipped just about to 42,000, and now I think it's down to 38 or something like that. So, like I said, and I'm gonna keep repeating it like a freaking skip CD or a scratched record, that I'm not a financial advisor. I am merely looking for a way to get out of my daily 9 to 5 because I hate my job. So that is what I have for you today. We did a little bit of cryptocurrencies. Talked a little bit about the different types of cryptocurrencies. And we also talked about Silicon Valley. Funny how this whole thing is connected with the whole tech thing, right? We also talked about the possibilities of the political climate here in Texas changing because of these people who work in these big tech companies. They are usually Democratic voters. And I can't stress this enough, I don't, if you're so successful and you have all these nice things, a nice house, a nice car, a good job that pays well, why would you vote for something that takes more money away from you and it doesn't make you want to expand and do your own thing? Why would you vote for something like that? I don't know. I really don't. Common sense would tell you that, usually there would be a certain point in somebody's life, right? When they're doing so well, where they just want to go ahead and just veer off and do their own thing and make their own success. That's how America is, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe I perceive America as something different than other people do. I never understood the Democratic voting, the reason why you will vote Democrat. I don't. Why should I have to pay for other kids' schooling on the public school system when my daughter doesn't even participate in the public school system? She doesn't. I have a good idea of what they teach you in the public school system because I'm a product of the public school system. Especially now, it's even worse. The indoctrination is really bad. Why should I have to pay for other? This ain't, as far as I remember, this is not a communist country, and I don't understand why these young people really want this to be a communist country. Really? Before you start cheerleading for communism and socialism and free this and free that, why don't you do some research about what happens? Because in communism, the people in power are the ones with they have the ultimate say on what's what, not you, the regular people. No. It sounds good, right? It sounds really good. It makes you feel good in your heart, doesn't it? But the truth of the matter is, when you have people in power, they become corrupt because that's how human beings are. That's just human nature. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking logically. Maybe I'm thinking illogically. I don't know. I really don't know how it's come to this, where everything is just backwards now, or upside down, or I don't even know what's right side up anymore. I don't know. And I know some of you listeners agree with me on that. How did we ever come to this? Really, how did we ever? I can tell you how. I got the answer for that. I can tell you exactly how. I can't tell you when this happened, but I can tell you how it happened. You know how it happened? And I'm guilty of this too. We all stopped caring. That's what happened. We all stopped caring and started caring about ourselves. Instead of looking out for things that we were supposed to look out after. That's what happened. But that's what happens when you have a society that's free and a society that's successful. You get complacent. You really do. And that's part of human nature. I mean, there's really nothing we can do about that. That's how human nature is. And the only thing we can do now is learn from the mistake of being complacent so we don't have to go through this again. If this thing was to ever, if this whole problem was to be solved, we can never let it go back to the problem that we are encountering anymore. We can't. We have to stress that with the youth. These are the discussions we have to start having with our young ones. Of course, they're not going to understand when they're 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. But once they start that preteen age, we have to start telling them how important it is for us to preserve what America is about. Because they're the ones, it ain't going to be us. Right now, we're the people who are trying to get things back into the right way. But once this whole thing is fixed, it is our youth that need to start, they need to maintain it. They need to keep up with preserving it. That's important. And we can't tell ourselves, oh, they're just kids, we shouldn't be having this conversation. No, that's BS. That is BS. That's an excuse. I've had this discussion with my son when he was in middle school. And this is way before all these things started happening here. I mean, it was already happening. And thank God for AJ, because he actually was one of the guys that woke me up. Now, what happened to him now, I don't know. But because of him, I was able to wake up and see clearly what was going on around the whole world, to be honest. Not just this country, the whole world. He was the one that introduced me to looking into other people. Bill Cooper, right? The OGs of this movement. The people who saw way back then what was going to happen. But like I said, we have to have these discussions with our preteen kids. We do. And you shouldn't feel like, oh, it's a burden to them. They shouldn't be having it at this age. No. Because you know what? If they don't learn now, if they're not taught now to preserve what we have later on, if they're not taught that now, then what happens? We lose everything all the way. Our fights for nothing. Our kids become slaves. I don't know about you, but that's not something I want. So, like I said, the discussion with the kids now is more important than ever. We are living in different times. Okay? It's not time to be decadent and be blind and be so involved in what's going on in your life, because honestly, what's going on in your life won't even matter in the future if we don't teach them now. Right? Part of that too is if you have kids in the public school system, You gotta see what these teachers are teaching them. You gotta know what they're being taught. That's how a lot of these kids are getting messed up. They're getting messed up because parents don't even care about what they're learning, right? You constantly give your kids rewards for getting straight A's, but straight A's from learning what? Learning what? Straight A's are not straight A's anymore. You know what straight A's are now? Straight A's means that you're an obedient slave. That's what straight A, that's my opinion. I mean, you may have a different opinion on that. But honestly, if you don't know what your kids are learning from school, that's your fault. And that's probably why a lot of your kids disagree with you politically, is because even though your home values are one thing, they go to school and get brainwashed by these liberal teachers, and they just flip-flop on you because you failed to understand what they were being taught. I am so happy that I was woken up to this thing so long ago. 15 years ago. 2006 was my awakening. And I did as much as I could to not let my kids be in this stupid system. And when my son was going through high school and college, I always told him, play the game, but make sure when you want to find what the truth is, you need to find out for yourself and make sure that the source that you're finding it out from is credible. He thought I was a nut back when he was in a freshman year and sophomore. He thought I was cuckoo. But now that he's all grown up, he says, "Hey, Dad, these liberal people are crazy." I've been telling you that. So I don't know how we got to this conversation. It's a good conversation. It really is. I mean, it's important. Let's face it. Our country, our freedom, it's important. Our rights, it's important. And yes, the discussion with your kids now, yes, we must have them. We are living in very different times. You know, if my parents were to discuss, or I should say my mom, if my mom was to discuss politics with me back then, I wouldn't have a clue, because nothing was going on that was worth even noticing. And besides, I don't even think that my mom was really politically knowledgeable as well. And you know what's funny is that my mother and I, we both have, she ingrained a lot of great qualities in me. Work hard. Okay? Thinking about my kids first. Those qualities she instilled in me. But I don't know what happened to her politics as far as her and I go. Because I was always taught to work hard for what I get by my mom. But yet, she leans more towards the Democratic part of her political belief system. I don't necessarily say that I'm not a Republican. Look, I'll say that every day, all day, every day. I am conservative, and I would also consider myself a libertarian, which is a little bit more to the right than a Republican is. Because I'm the type of person who believes in my personal freedoms and rights. Like, don't encroach in my personal business, and I will leave you alone. And I think a lot, like I said earlier, I think a lot of Americans are like that too. Like, we want to be left alone, right? But these people who vote Democrat always wants the government all up in their business. I don't want that. Why does the government have to be all up in my business? I'm not doing anything threatening to this country. If anything, right now, I'm trying to help build this country and help build my dream, because that's what we're all entitled to that pursuit of happiness, and building my own company in this country is part of the pursuit of my happiness. So, what a discussion, man. I think I'd have to get another co-host with me, and we can discuss things like this, because this would be a very, very fun topic to talk about, to be honest. This kind of sucks that I have to talk about myself, because I'd like to get feedback from other people with their perspectives, and we can share, or we can agree, or we can disagree, and we can talk about our differences or things that we have in common, which is cool. And I've noticed that on one of my my latest co-host podcast had the most hits on BitChute, because I think a lot of people like hearing different perspectives, and I think that's awesome. That's the way it should be. How else do we learn? We learn from each other. What works, what doesn't work, what we agree with, what we don't agree with. It's awesome. Open discussion. So, I also want to give a shout out to some of the people that I've met on Twitch. I've met a few people. I don't have the list of names right now, the usernames at least. And I've met these people through great streams out there on Twitch with I want to say Space Shot. I listen to his live streams on Twitch. Great show. I've listened to Methods to Madness. Great show. Another great show. Look, all the shows that I'm going to mention right now, and I've chatted with these people. And I'm sorry that I don't remember your usernames, but I've met a handful of very good people on these streams who share, I would say, the same belief system as I do. I mean, if we're all listening to the same thing, then generally speaking, we all are like-minded, right? But I listen to Space Shot, Methods to Madness, Red Pill 78, Woke Societies, my favorite show, The Quite Frankly Show. I really look. The one thing I look forward to in the Quite Frankly shows are the creative names that they make. And if you have not checked out that show, I would highly recommend you check out that show, because I really like the vibe in that show. Frank does such a great job in his show, podcast show, whatever it is. And then I also want to give shout outs to other channels that I do listen to, like X22 Report, SGT Report. Lots of love out there, But I really want to give a big shout out of those people that I've met in these chat rooms, who have supported me, and they tell me positive things, and sometimes I tell them, look, I'm good with constructive criticism. I'm not a little, if there's something you think that that I need to change, let me know. Don't be an a-hole about it and tell me in an a-hole way. Just tell me, what do you think I should improve on? So I just wanted to give a special shout out on people that I've met in those shows on the chat rooms. I also wanted to give a shout out to those shows too, because they are a part of me growing. They're a big part of my life as far as maturing my mind, because my mind is expanding. Okay. But I got to be honest, sometimes I need a break off it. Like, the information sometimes is just, I'll stop there, because maybe I should save that for another show, right? I should save that for another show. Oh, another show I want to give shout outs to is Tori Says as well. She's another good source of information. And I really like her. That's one chick I would not want to mess with. But like I said, I love all those shows, and they're a big part of my life that help me, my thinking, and me mature. And even meeting great people on these chat rooms. We all share information sometimes, and it's really good. So I'm about to end this stream. I think I've yapped more than enough here. I think you all had enough of me kind of letting out some steam, or what John Matrix and the Commando would say, let out some steam, Bennett. So, with that being said,
the bar is now closed.
I can't help but wonder if I'm under a spell. It's more than a passing notion. I've never fallen with such devotion. I can't help but wonder if it's only a dream. Am I naive, or can I believe that things are really as they seem? Can anyone explain how to understand what's true? I know I just can't take it. Whenever I'm with you, I can't help but wonder if you wonder about me. 'Cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might be. Can anyone explain it? How to understand what's true? I know I just can't take it. Whenever I'm with you, I can't help but wonder if you wonder about me. 'Cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might be. 'Cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might be.